decorated gymnasts in U.S. history. No one, male or female, has won more world or Olympic medals. She first came to Russia at age 8 on a cultural exchange program to learn more about her sport. Today, Shannon Miller returns as the reigning world all-around champion. For the last 12 of her 17 years, Shannon has dedicated herself to gymnastics. And for 2 years, she hasn't lost a single competition. Now she has returned to Russia for the one medal she doesn't have. Gold at the Goodwill Games. And welcome to the Lenin Sport and Concert Complex here in St. Petersburg for our continuing coverage of gymnastics competition at the Goodwill Games. Hi everyone, I'm Bart Connor, and today is perhaps one of the most glamorous days of competition here at the Goodwill Games. It's the women's all-around finals featuring American Shannon Miller. I'm joined, as always, by Kathy Johnson. And Kathy, Shannon was here 8 years ago. That's where she met her coach, Steve Nuno. She comes back this time as a world all-around champion.
And Steve certainly recognized her talent back then. And we've seen the result of that talent and hard work. We saw it at the 91 and 93 World Championships and the 92 Olympic Games. But since the 94 World Championships, we're seeing an additional element in Shannon's gymnastics. She's still performing a very high level of difficulty, but it's harder now. She's 4 inches taller, and she's really working to pull things out, but she's doing it.
Now, Shannon Miller hasn't lost an international competition in 2 years. She has her hands full today. The Russians look outstanding all week long.
The Russians were dominant in the team competition, and any one of them can win the gold medal here in the competition. And also, gymnasts from Romania and from Ukraine. But Shannon can still win. If the other gymnasts don't falter, she will have to be perfect, and even then it'll be very close.
Once again, it's the women's all-around finals. The top 16 gymnasts qualify to this session from the team competition. No more than 3 gymnasts from any one team. There will be no scores carried over, so it's new life for every gymnast. And the women will be competing on the 4 apparatus, the vault, the uneven bars, the balance beam, and the floor exercise. Oksana Fabrichnova in the women's all-around competition was second yesterday coming to this competition. This is a great event for her.
What a talented gymnast. Look at the height on the release move. And this is a combination of 2 right here, the first and then right down to the low bar.
Bronze medalist at the World Championships this year on this event.
Now she's capable of a huge dismount, a double twisting double back, but she didn't perform it in team competition. Let's see if she does it here. Nope, just a tuck double back. Oh, and even a step on the landing. That'll hurt her score a little bit.
She did the same dismount yesterday in the team competition. Earlier in the week, she's been suffering from some fever. Perhaps she may not be quite back to full speed.
It's very difficult at the end of your routine, especially if you're really not up to par. This is just a beautiful combination. The judges really like to see 2 release moves in a row, or 2 elements of value.
Once again, the Russians demonstrate incredible form and technique.
Even when you see her do this easy dismount, it's way up in the air. Unfortunately, she had a bad break on the landing.
9.537 for Oksana Fabrichnova on the uneven bars. Would have been a little higher had she gone for a more difficult dismount, as she can do. For the United States, world champion Shannon Miller. She, of course, winner of 2 world championships back-to-back, the first time an American has ever done that. She comes into this competition not as a favorite, though, Kathy.
We've talked about how it's a little bit harder for Shannon since growing 4 inches, and she did have to work through an injury, but this is an event where she is better. This is one of the more difficult vaults in the competition. The Yurchenko vault, where she does the half twist off of the horse. You'll see right here the half twist, and then it's a laid out front and a blind landing, meaning she cannot see the ground before the landing. She really must know exactly where her body is in the air to come up with a perfect landing. She does this vault very well. Look at the height and distance. Exactly what the judges are looking for. All she needs to improve on is the landing.
There's the score for Shannon Miller's first vault. Out of a possible 10, it was a 9.8. Pretty good score there.
Excellent score, particularly since it's early in the competition.
Miller now hoping to get a little bit better landing on this vault.
They will average the score of both vaults, so still a lot of pressure on Shannon Miller to actually improve on the vault and hopefully come up with a perfect landing. Oh, she was really going for a good landing. And unfortunately, when you go for that type of a landing on this vault, it's very risky. It's easy to under-rotate.
That really was one of her best vaults of the week, though. You could see she was really trying to nail it.
Right on top of the horse, good push, nice position as always, and she opened up hoping for a perfect landing and had to take 2 steps back. That unfortunately will be a sizable deduction.
Getting ready to go on the uneven bars, Oksana Chusovitina from Uzbekistan. She was rather consistent in the team competition, scoring 3 scores in the mid-9/7s, but she had won 8.875 on the balance beam. So that has kept her out of the top, but as you remember, no scores carry over from the preliminary rounds. Everyone has new life today. She'll hope to do better here.
She has been very innovative on this event. Watch this skill right here. She and Shannon Miller were the first ones to do it in competition. A pull over the bar. She really needs a little bit more in this routine to really make it a spectacular routine to get a big score, but that's a great dismount. Focusing double back. Here's that dismount. The full twist comes in the middle of the 2 somersaults. And she does it very nicely.
Oksana Chusovitina off to a good start.
Why go to
Kochetkova from Russia, 9.725 out of a possible 9.9. She's getting ready for her second vault. She turned 17 just 4 days ago. Be a nice birthday present for her to win the title here. She seems poised for it, doesn't it?
She's certainly one of the favorites here, and in order to do so, she needs a better vault. Right here, she needs to get in that 9.8, 9.9 range. And that's the better vault. That's exactly what she needed. She got so much more distance on this vault.
She was third in the all-around at the World Championships. It was because of vaults like this.
Overall, it was just a bigger vault. You could see a better position in the air, and then she really exploded out of that tight position.
Strong opening performance for Dina Kochetkova from Russia. Well, this is certainly a big day for this young lady, Mariana Webster from the United States. She's just 15 years old. Competes and trains along with Shannon Miller in Oklahoma City under Steve Duno and Peggy Liddick.
And she had a tremendous competition during the team portion of the Goodwill Games. What a thrill here to be in the all-around finals, and really right up in there. She was so consistent, so steady in the all-around. Really handled the pressure. Nice transitions going from bar to bar. Here's the dismount. Nice opening into that layout position. Really? Oh, that put a smile on her face. But that's really what the judges are looking for. She needed credit for that big move at the end of the routine.
A lot of pressure on these young ladies in the team competition. They seem to be turning on today in the all-around.
And she was going to leave no question in the judges' mind. This is a laid-out position and really rocked the landing.
Gotta go.
Great opening round there for Mariana Webster. Grosheva from Russia. She's just 14 years old, and like all three Russians in this competition, she could win this event outright.
They are so consistent, and none of them have a weak event. That's the amazing thing.
She was 12th in the all-around at the World Championships this year.
With a half twist, that's worth a 9.9. You can really see she had to work for this because she wasn't in a position for a really perfect landing, but she was not going to give it up. You can really see a veteran in competition who are used to fighting for every 10th of a point, and she saved one right here by not moving her feet.
Grosheva competed in the Junior European Championships this year. Just a junior, this is a very important senior meet for her. 5th in the all-around there. She did not place on the vault. There's her score, a 9.637 for the first of these two vaults. Remember, the scores will be averaged.
All of these gymnasts know how important every thousandth of a point is in gymnastics. Remember, Shannon Miller was second in the Olympics by just 12 thousandths of a point. So they really work for every 10th of a point they get. Excellent. A better vault, a better landing.
It's really been interesting to see the Russian team here practicing all week. They're real loose. They used to be so intense, and their gymnastics is still spectacular.
It's still great, and they're having so much fun. There's smiles on their faces.
On the bars now, Podkopaeva from the Ukraine. This is Lilia Podkopaeva.
Certainly one of the more beautiful gymnasts in the competition. She really pulled that handstand out right there because of her toe point and her elegance. She really has a nice presentation. Gorgeous full turn on top of the bar.
She was 6th in the all-around at the World Championship this year.
Very good routine. She just does not give away any 10th of a point in form deductions.
So Podkopaeva off to a good start. She was a finalist at the Worlds on this event, placing 5th. On the vault, the 2-vault average for Yelena Grosheva, 9.669. 9.75, the score for Lilia Podkopaeva. So let's take a look at the all-around standings after one rotation. Dina Kochetkova with a 9.763 in her first round holds the lead. Yelena Piskun, Lilia Podkopaeva tied for second. Shannon Miller in 4th place currently. Lilia Podkopaeva, she had a 9.75 in her first effort here on the uneven bars. Off to a good start. She was shaky on this event. In the team competition, only had a 9.375.
And that's surprising. She is potentially very beautiful on this event. She has a high level of difficulty and really shows elegant choreography.
Watch this mount.
Notice how she's very precise in every single moment of this routine. That is beautiful. Pike open layout to a swing down.
You can't help but think the coaches all around the world, when they're talking to their young gymnasts and mentioning how you need to keep your legs straight and your toes pointed, all of them are talking about Lilia Podkopaeva. That's the example of how to do proper technique and form. Oh, good save.
It's a very good save, but anytime a gymnast breaks at the waist over, that's normally a 3/10 of a point deduction, and that is very difficult. I don't know how she spins on her head and has any hair left.
May make for a bad hair day, no?
Keep in mind how close these competitions are. Thousands of a point sometimes separate the medalists. So that was an unfortunate break, but this is a big dismount.
Wow.
Gorgeous full twisting double back with a very impressive landing.
A little shaky there, but otherwise a strong finish for Podkopaeva. Now over to the unevens. Yelena Grosheva. She had a 9-7 in her first event here, the vault. It's a great event for her.
I want you to watch the height of her release moves. This is what is impressive. She is way up above the bar. And she'll perform another one right here. And watch, she finishes the move up above the bar before she regrabs.
Once again, the Russians have such good form and really excellent, clean technique.
Makes for the big scores. She has a double front dismount. It's tough to land. Oh, she is right on with her landings today. It is uncanny that anyone can tell where they are in this type of dismount. It's a double front somersault. You really have to go on feel alone where that floor is. And look at that. She just locks into that position.
The score for Podkopaeva on the beam earlier was a 9.587. The score over on the bars for Grosheva, a 9.825. This is her teammate, Oksana Fabrishnova. Everything she does, all the apparatus, she does with such ease, doesn't she, Kathy?
And such elegance. It looks so effortless as she goes through the routine, which is obviously the goal of gymnasts. She had trouble with this pass in the warm-ups. See if she can do it. 3 layout step outs. Perfectly done.
All of her scores in the preliminary competition were between 9.7 and 9.8. Her first score here was a 9.537 on her vault, so she's a little behind what her schedule normally is.
Keep in mind how devastating just a balance break can be on the balance beam. Of course, you get the deduction for that, but if it's on a skill that you need for your bonus points, if the deduction is too great, you don't get credit. So then you lose another 1/10 of a point that you really needed. Not enough just to stay on the balance beam anymore. They really need to be perfect. Here's a dismount, very difficult. Came up with a great landing.
Now on the uneven bars, this is Ana Maria Bican from Romania. She had a 9.694 on the vault.
This is disappointing part because that's her best event. She really needed a bigger score there, but that's beautiful work. The pirouette right into a release move.
Clean execution.
Very nice dismount. So many of the gymnasts are doing that dismount. The pike open into the layout position.
Interestingly enough, she said her favorite gymnast is her competitor, Dina Kochetkova. We'll be back right after this.
The closest.
After the first rotation in this women's all-around competition, Shannon Miller on one of her best events.
She has a beautiful combination of difficult elements. Starting with this full over the top, right into a release move. There it is. She has certainly perfected it over the last couple of years. Very nice element. Oh, a little bit off center, but she got it right back on the mark. Final release move before the dismount. And now this is the toughest part for Shannon. It's a double layout. And she's grown 4 inches. And whoa, she's getting used to it, though. And she can really stay laid out in that position and pull it all the way around.
How about a smile from Shannon Miller? That's the first smile we've seen all week long. Just like when we saw her in Australia a few months ago at the World Championships. She struggled in practice, but she knows how to pull it out in the meets.
I know we keep talking about growing 4 inches. That is a big deal in gymnastics, especially when you're trying to stay in a laid-out position. You're much longer, and it's harder to flip fast enough to get around. Look at that, the full turn up above the bar. She knows right where it is.
Go back.
Quick update on scores, a 9.762 for Fabrichnova on the beam. Over on the uneven bars, the score for Ana Maria Bican from Romania was a 9.625. Now getting ready to perform here, Yelena Piskun from Belarus. The score, by the way, was a 9.75 for Shannon Miller over on the bars. That puts her in second place behind Grosheva.
Piskun does just about everything in the book on the balance beam. Incredible difficulty. Watch this. Oh, no. I haven't seen her miss all week. That was at least a 0.2 of a point deduction, if not more.
A lot of audiences in the United States are familiar with Yelena Piskun. She's come to the States many times for American Cup competitions and other invitationals.
Oh, what a shame. She's been making that in competition regularly. Certainly one of the most difficult skills you can do on the balance beam. Very risky.
She had a 9.75 in her first event here. The uneven bars, that will totally take her out of the running in the all-around competition. No scores carry over. Everyone starts new life today.
This will certainly put her completely out of the running in the all-around. Pike double back. That's too bad because she was right in there.
Now on the uneven bars, Dina Kochetkova.
Probably the strongest physically in this competition in terms of just outright physical strength.
If she were to score more than a 9.731, she could take the lead over her teammate Grosheva.
The best part of her routine is the transition from low bar to high bar and then back down. She does it with such ease. Huge dismount, double layout. Now, we've seen several of the gymnasts perform pike into the layout. She stayed laid out all the way around.
Tight all-around competition here at the Goodwill Games. So let's take a look at the standings after 2 rotations. The score, by the way, for Yelena Piskun was a 9.15. Kochetkova, as I said, is in first place. Grosheva second. Shannon Miller from the United States, a very close third.
Images of young gymnasts, strong and supple, striving for perfection under immense pressure. Some are victorious, others end in disappointment. Both follow the same path that begins with a dream to be like Olga or Nadia and continues with hard work, sacrifice, and times of both joy and heartache. For those like Mary Lou, whose names will never be forgotten, winning at the right time was everything. But is it the only thing?
There are so many personal rewards to be gained from gymnastics. First of all, I can tell you, it's incredibly fun to flip. But in addition, young girls learn discipline, dedication, and the value of hard work. However, as they progress toward Olympic caliber competition, the risks increase, and special care must be taken to ensure they have the proper support system they need to face the unusual pressures and demands of this sport.
But for gymnasts to master the skills necessary to compete at the elite level, they must start very young so as not to rush the process, to take advantage of the time when gymnastics is easiest, when the body is small, light, and agile, and energy is boundless.
The nice part about having the youth in the gymnastics and the young girls and stuff is that they have these little self-built-in mechanisms. You know, they can go and go and go and go, and they're all pumped up and they're excited and they're trying things, and then they'll wear out. And if you give them a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a break, all of a sudden they're children. They can pick right back up and go again. Until they turn ages 14 to 18, their little bodies handle quite a bit.
It takes a lot of hard work to get to the Olympics. You have to push yourself and make yourself do it, because that's the only way you can become something.
Everything you wanted to do and you want to reach perfection, you have to work hard.
Young gymnasts also know it takes sacrifice to reach the elite level. That means maintaining strict diets, trading free time for training time, and for many, moving away from home to train.
I don't live with my dad. I'm not with my brother either. And that's a pretty big sacrifice.
I've gone through a lot in my gymnastics career, successes, failures, whatever. But I've enjoyed it all, and I think it's all been a really good experience for me.
There are dreams of making Olympic teams and winning medals, which are won by mere thousandths of a point. The tiniest of errors can mean the difference of a medal, and certainly a fall is disastrous. A gymnast must be able to deal with any outcome.
The fact that I didn't make it to the Olympics, I didn't get to compete in the Olympics. That was the hardest thing for me to deal with. As far as life is concerned, it ruined the rest of my life. But I got into a really bad depression and everything because I didn't make the Olympic team, and that was my dream, and I'd given up so much of my life for that, just for that one chance.
Some gymnasts, like Christy, now 22, embarking on an acting career, don't realize what they've gained from the sport until they put some distance between themselves and the gym, especially if they fell short of their goals.
You have to be happy with yourself. Be happy. Come on. You didn't ever think you would be that close, did you? Huh? Not for real. You can do it. Stand up and wave.
Gymnastics doesn't have to be a do-or-die sport. The risks can be minimized through proper coaching, strong family support, and a change in society's definition of success. Winning has become so important in our world that unless young athletes are taught otherwise, they equate success only with winning. As a result, they're hard-pressed to believe that just being the best they possibly can be is success in and of itself.
Thank you, Kathy. On a sad note, Christy Henrich, a former member of the U.S. national gymnastics team, died this week in a Kansas City hospital after suffering from multiple organ system failure. Henrich, who had placed fourth on the uneven bars at the 1989 World Championships, had struggled with anorexia and bulimia for more than 3 years. Christy Henrich was 22 years old. Well, right now we're going to go back out to gymnastics and rejoin Bart Connor and Kathy Johnson for more of the women's all-around.
On the balance beam now from Russia, Yelena Grosheva. Currently in second place in the all-around, .157 behind her teammate, Dina Kochetkova. It's a close all-around competition. Shannon Miller's in third.
And I really like this routine. She is so poised and really marks every position so clearly and precisely. Side somersault. It's one of the higher rated skills on the balance beam, so she'll get bonus points for that. Slight balance checks there. Very strong performance up to the dismount.
Just a tiny little hop. She just had very small deductions in there. Only once did she really have to check her balance, and it was oh so slight.
So Yelena Grosheva finishes her balance beam. Now we move over to the floor. Yelena Podkopaeva.
Gymnast is phenomenal on this event. Watch a double front.
Great opening pass and the best landing I've ever seen her do. Resting up for it.
Beautiful. She has it all. A charming personality that really shines through in the choreography, and great tumbling.
Lovely dance, powerful tumbling, just a great routine. Lilia Podkopaeva. Anna Maria Bican.
They performed so consistently during the team competition, and this really is their strength. Watch this pass. 4 elements in a row with 2 layouts. Highly difficult.
The score over on the floor for Podkopaeva was a very high 9.85. That means if Anna Maria Bican gets 9.68 or more, she could go into the lead halfway through this third rotation.
She needs 9.868.
One of the requirements on the balance beam is to connect a gymnastics or dance element with an acrobatic element. There's her dismount sequence. 2 back handsprings to a double back. Notice how closely together her legs are. It's so nice to see good form and good technique.
She, of course, trains in Deva, Romania, the home of former champion Nadia Comaneci. Deva is the center that Bela Karolyi and Nadia Comaneci developed after the '76 Olympics. Now to the floor. Fabrichnova, Oksana Fabrichnova.
And Bart, she had trouble on one of her passes in the warm-up.
She seems a little weak here. She had been suffering from a fever earlier in the week. More than a 9.888 in this event, she could go into the lead currently held by Podkopaeva. Keep in mind, her teammate Kochetkova has not yet performed in this rotation. Neither, of course, is Shannon Miller.
It will be very difficult to get. We've seen so few 9.9s. That's the pass that she couldn't do in the warm-up. And knowing that it was her final pass, I had my doubts that she could make it. incredible difficulty. It was the technique she was having trouble with, not just the fact that she was suffering.
Disappointment for Fabrichnova, one of our favorites here, the all-around from Russia.
Just like back home, Russian children can't get enough of toy stores. From jumbos to Halloween ghosts, they have it all.
Shannon Miller in a critical event, the balance beam. She had trouble in team competition, scoring at only a 9.525. If she hopes to do well in the all-around today, it's going to come down to how well she does right here.
Very nice gymnastics acrobatic combination. Where she had a little trouble, and it was really very minor. But when you're trying to win the all-around competition, you can't afford a break, and it came right here at the end of 2 layouts. She lost her balance slightly.
A little bit better today.
A lot better today. She only lifted the leg. That will just be the tiniest of deductions. And that's called the Miller. She didn't quite get it to the handstand.
Shannon Miller had suffered some injuries over this past year, a stomach muscle injury, a back injury. It hasn't been easy for her to continue at this top level. She's been undefeated for 2 years in international competition.
Bart, it's hard to be perfect time and time again, and that's what we have expected of her, and most of the time she delivers. Really an amazing athlete. I love seeing her internal strength come out now.
That's how you do that.
This is where she had problems. In the team competition, she over-rotated this. Boy, did she nail it today.
Exactly when she needed to. That could be a very key point in this competition.
Okay, now the best one left. Okay, it's got to be a strong first pass. Let's not lose focus, okay? All right, let's
Steve
go.
Nuno knows that she's putting it together today, as does Peggy Liddick, her coach on the balance beam. Such a relief for Shannon to win the world championship on the balance beam. Many people felt for the last few years she's been the best in the world, but wasn't able to win a world title until just a few months ago in Australia. The score, by the way, for Fabrichnova in that disastrous floor routine was a 9.137. 9.712 was the score for Anna Maria Bican on the balance beam. We will wait for Shannon Miller's score and go right now over to the floor. Oksana Chusovitina, one of the most powerful tumblers, and as you have said before, Kathy Johnson, reminds us a lot of the power of Mary Lou Retton.
Especially this first pass. It's the exact pass that Mary Lou competed at the '94 Olympic Games on her way to the Olympic all-around title. And Oksana does it just as easily.
Wow.
She actually lifts even more into the second somersault.
Just amazing power. What a treat for all the people here to see that power and dynamic performance. Got the biggest reaction from the crowd so far. There is Shannon Miller. The score a 9.887, which gives her the lead here at the Goodwill Games women's all-around competition, and that's just for the moment. On the balance beam now, from Russia, Dina Kochetkova.
And Bart, this is going to be a very, very close competition.
If Kochetkova gets a 9.818, she will tie or move into the lead with more than a 9.818 over Shannon Miller, currently in first.
She cannot afford a break.
This is the only event where she had a little trouble in the preliminaries, only a 9.65.
Excellent. We've just seen that new skill here at the Goodwill Games. She and her teammate Horkina performing full twisting back handspring to her feet. So far, this is so near perfect. Here's the dismount and the landing. Oh, I wouldn't want to be the judges. This is tough.
Boy, this is going to be one close battle for the all-around title. Kochetkova right on. The score for Kochetkova on that wonderful balance beam routine, 9.85, which means she moves into the lead in the all-around competition by 0.032 32 thousandths of a point over American Shannon Miller. And their third rotation is over. Podkopayev is in third.
Julie, I'm a little... After an almost perfect balance beam routine, Dina Kochetkova of Russia continues to lead the women's all-around. And Shannon Miller of the United States has moved up a spot to second place. Now let's rejoin Bart Connor and Kathy Johnson for the final rotation.
Oksana Chusovitina from Uzbekistan. She's in fifth place in the all-around.
And she's a great vaulter. Front pike with a half twist.
What a landing. Wasn't that something?
It's worth a 9.9, and there were very few deductions in that ball. If any. If there are, they're tiny little ones. Maybe could have gone a little bit higher, but she got great distance and a near perfect landing.
So the score, 9.80 for Chusovitina. Excellent landing on that vault. The vault's worth a maximum of 9.9, so she was near perfect.
And she needs to repeat that effort if she hopes to move closer to the medals.
Currently fifth in the all-around.
She's performing the same vault again. And hoping for the same landing, I'm sure. Oh, no. She was a little forward off the board. I thought she was going to get a little too much rotation.
In her fourth and final performance here in the women's all-around competition, Shannon Miller came up with a terrific performance in the third rotation on the balance beam when she needed it. Yesterday here, she had a 9.95 in the team competition. She's currently in second place in the all-around, 32 thousandths of a point out of the lead.
Oh, a tiny little stumble backwards, but she handled it. Her competitive heart must be beating very strongly. Competition is so close. Every single landing is crucial.
Just as you said at the top of the show, these competitions have gotten more difficult for Shannon. She's grown a little bit. She's matured. And yet she seems to get better and better, doesn't she?
The new code of point excellent tumbling skills and still get bonus points. So though they're not as dynamic as we might see from Kochetkova, they're enough. This one's going to be worth a 10. She needs a good landing, and it's perfect. As always, a lovely presentation. It's going to be the battle of the tumbling runs, I think.
Well, whether Shannon Miller wins the gold here today or not, she certainly can be proud of how well she performed. Watching her practice in the earlier sessions this week, you didn't know if she had it in her, but boy, did she come up strong here.
This is where she really had to fight for this landing. She was over-rotating just a little bit because she's working really hard to pull it around and kind of takes a large step backwards, but as I said, she handled it.
The score for Shannon Miller, a 9.912. That will put her in first place for the time being. Remember, Kochetkova has yet to go.
That's how you do it, just a little stuff, you know?
On the floor now, Dina Kochetkova needs more than a 9.88 to take the lead over Shannon Miller from the United States, and boy, she's great here.
Bart, there's no question she is the more dynamic tumbler of the two. Look at that double layout.
She gets a little short on that landing.
But because of the quota points, it doesn't matter how much more dynamic you think her tumbling is. It's still only worth a 10, just like Shannon's was.
Third in the all-around at this year's World Championship. Shannon Miller was the champion.
It's going to come down to her final landing of her last tumbling pass. Slight adjustment on the landing of her first pass. Kochetkova needs a perfect landing. And she got it.
Boy, she
it's hard to say, but it's a more difficult pass than what Shannon finished with. There's more difficult tumbling in there, but it's up to the judges now.
You said it's up to the judges. We are in Russia. Just a prediction?
I think she might have it, Bart. She had great difficulty throughout the routine. Look at this high double layout. Oh, this is the final tumbling run. Full twisting double back. A perfect landing.
We'll wait for the score for Kochetkova. She turned 17 just 4 days ago. Be a nice birthday present, a gold here at the Goodwill Games. Shannon Miller will wait. She currently holds on to the lead.
ABC Sports presentation of the 1994 Goodwill Games from St. Petersburg, Russia continues. Here is Bart Connor.
So with a score of 9.9, Dina Kochetkova gets the gold here. She beats Shannon Miller by 2/100ths of a point. Shannon Miller with a 9.912 on her final event on the floor exercise will earn the silver medal. Now the battle for the bronze is still up for grabs. As we said, the battle for third is tight. This is Podkopayeva on her vault.
Oh no, it's a beautiful vault. Unfortunately, she completely misjudged the landing. Over-rotated, rather large step on the landing.
Chusovitina is currently holding on to third place.
You can admire, though, the perfect technique she uses. Completely straight arms on that landing onto the horse. Watch this. She's in the perfect position to block upward, gets into a completely straight body line, which is excellent. She just pulls her legs too far underneath her. And those are just huge deductions for the running steps out.
She would need to average more than a 9.631 to move into third place. It's going to be difficult now. 9.725 the score on the first vault for Podkopaeva. This is a tight battle for the bronze medal. Chusovitina currently holding on to the bronze medal at this point. But there are 3 other gymnasts that could take it from her. One of them is this young lady, Lilia Podkopaeva.
I'm a little surprised they went that high. It's a beautiful vault, and I'm sure that's what they were trying to give credit to, but you can't ignore the big steps at the end. Oh, and again, the same thing, an excellent vault.
Keep in mind, she got a terrific score on the first vault. Here on the second vault, she only needs a 9.537 to move into that bronze medal position at this point. Grosheva and Anna Maria Bican yet to go.
Watch again how beautiful the vault is, how excellent the position in the air, but there's no denying that is not a good landing. And they must take a deduction. It's typically at least a 10th of a point for each step, and those are large steps.
Yelena Grosheva now on the floor exercise. She still has a shot at the bronze medal. She would need a 9, better than a 9.762 to bump Podkopaeva out of the bronze medal contention. She earned a 9.706 on the vault and bumped Chusovitina out. So everyone is in the hunt for the bronze now. The gold and the silver decided. Kochetkova getting the gold. Shannon Miller, of course, the silver for the United States.
Double twisting front, one of the more difficult passes in women's gymnastics. You seldom see it. Beautiful double pike. Excellent landings throughout the whole routine. This is an exciting competition. Everything is so close.
Lovely finish for Yelena Grosheva. The Russian team have really treated us as some beautiful performances today. Lovely technique, style, execution, and power.
Here's her first pass. Now watch how she really attacks the landing. Actually, this is her final tumbling run. And every single landing, she really nailed it into the floor and just took the step into the lunge position.
From Romania, Anna Maria Bican. As you see there, she needs a 9.912 to edge Grosheva out of the third place spot. The score for Grosheva was a 9.812.
That will be very difficult to do, Bart. That's the score that Shannon Miller received. Keep in mind, Shannon's a former world champion on this event. And good landing. So you have to look at the entire performance, the overall performance, and that's where Shannon scores so many points. She really combines beautiful choreography with adequate tumbling. It's enough to get all her bonus points. Oh, that's beautiful, though. Triple twist.
Lovely finish and some terrific tumbling from Anna Marie Bacan.
The judges really do have a difficult task, because if you just look at the tumbling and you say, well, this is more difficult and the landings were better, if you only judged on that, then the results might be different. It's very hard. It's important to keep in mind the overall performance and what makes it special. And what made this one special was this triple twist at the end of the routine.
A lot of power from Anna Marie Bacan. We'll wait for her score. We'll get that when we come back. The score for Anna Maria Bacan, a 9.762, will not be enough to move her into third. She will finish in 6th place. Now, in a competition that has been plagued by technical glitches, it's probably only fitting that in the final rotations, the judges inadvertently entered the wrong scores into the computer. It did not change the order of the results, but it did change the separation between the winners. Kochetkova, Miller, and Yelena Grosheva win. Let's go down to the floor now, where our Donna Daverona is with silver medalist Shannon Miller.
Thank you, Bart. We've always said that the hardest thing about being a champion is holding up the burden of being one, having to be absolutely perfect. Well, certainly, Shannon, tonight you rose to the occasion, especially on the balance beam, which you had a little bit of trouble with yesterday during the team competition.
Yeah, I was happy that I got my beam routine together for tonight, and hopefully it'll be even better tomorrow night for event finals.
During the floor exercise program, you had your eyes on your competition. What went through your mind when Dina was out on the floor?
Well, mostly I knew if she hit, she'd win, and she did. She did a great floor routine. She had a lot of difficulty, and she stuck, so.
Goodwill Games, an experience for you. You are the most accomplished gymnast in U.S. history. Can you talk a little bit about the burden of having to be perfect all the time?
I wouldn't call it a burden. Mostly I go out there, I train hard, and go out there and do my best, and hit my routines, hopefully. And after that, it's up to the judges.
For you, your eyes are upon 1996, and it's really a long way. You have to take an event by each performance. Can you tell me how the Goodwill Games performance will help you as you look toward the national championships?
Well, this is my first time competing in Russia, and it's also my first time competing in any Goodwill Games. Last time I was alternate, and I didn't get to compete. So this has been a good experience for me, and I think it's been a good experience for my teammates as well.
What do you think you learned from this competition? We know it was hot down here, and the conditions weren't perfect. You didn't always get to go when the bell sounded. Does that prepare you for the big moment?
Definitely. I think if you're prepared for this competition, you can be prepared for anything.
And how about your teammates? How about Jenny Thompson? What was her reaction after yesterday's performances?
I think she's gained a lot of experience from this meet, and I know that in her upcoming competitions that are going to be not in the United States, she'll do better.
And how about you? You had some injuries. You have grown 4 inches. You've gained weight. And we always talk about the gymnast that grows overnight, that has to learn about a different center of balance. And how have you coped with that emotionally?
I think it's helped me in my gymnastics. It's given me a little bit more strength and a little bit more power on my tumbling and vaulting.
So it's been positive for you. You may be the one gym that's been able to really handle the transition.
Yeah, well, I'm not that tall, so don't worry about that yet.
I know, 4 inches and you're only still 4'10". Congratulations on a great performance.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Shannon Miller. She certainly has to be very proud today. She came here at the age of 9 to learn from the Russian masters. 8 years later, she comes back as the world all-around champion. Today, she performed beautifully. Just came up slightly short of the gold. She should be proud she won the silver medal. And for the Russian team, Dina Kochetkova. Well, she beat Shannon Miller today. She outperformed her just by a little bit. As a matter of fact, by 57 1/1000ths of a point. Kochetkova treats herself to a belated 17th birthday present. Your final results here at Gymnastics: Kochetkova the gold, Shannon Miller by 57 thousandths of a point the silver, and Yelena Grosheva from Russia as well the bronze.